question number 2. Again, we're going to go ahead and cross out the area model. And this one may go a little bit faster because I'm going to quickly write down my steps right here. When we're dividing, we are dividing first, then multiplying, then subtracting, and then we bring down the next number. And the number that we're dividing right now is 4,218. And we're going to divide this, 16. Ooh, that would have been made a mistake. 16. And we're dividing by the number 8. So the very first thing that I'd want to do is make my top bottom chart for the number 8. So I'm going to go over here, call this the T column and the B column. And since I know I can only put numbers 1 through 9 on top as part of my quotient, I'm going to cut this into 9 equal pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm going to list these 1 through 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And since we're dividing by the number 8, I'm going to do my count bys by 8. So we have 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72. All right. Now I'm going to go over here. I've done my top bottom chart. I've written my steps, and the next thing I want to take care of is be a quick estimate. So again, this number is in the thousands. So I'm going to go ahead and just estimate it to the nearest 100. So 4,216 is closer to 4,200. And I'm going to just look at the digits 42. I'm going to get as close as I possibly can to 42, and I get 40. And I get right behind 42, and I get 4,800. I'm going to add those two zeros. And I'm going to use my relationships to help me make an easy and quick estimate for this question. So I think to myself, well, how many groups of 40 or how many groups of 8 are in 40? And that would be 5. But we're not talking about 40, we're talking about 4,000. So I have 2 extra zeros, so I'm going to add 2 extra zeros. When I think about how many groups of 8 are in 48, I can go over here to my chart and it says 6. But we're not talking about just 48, we're talking about 4,800. I have the 2 extra zeros, so I'm going to add the 2 extra zeros. And now, boys and girls, I have a range. I know that my answer should be somewhere between the numbers 500 and 600. And if I saw answer choices that were greater or smaller than that, then I would want to get rid of those quickly. Now I'm ready to solve. And what makes this easier than 4th grade is we're able to cover and break it down into small pieces. If I had a total of 4, would I be able to circle a group of 8? No, I would not. So I'm going to put an X in that spot. I'm going to move over. If I had a total of 42, would I be able to circle groups of 8? Well, I start looking. And it looks like I would be able to circle several groups. In fact, 5 groups would be able to be circled. So 5 will go on the top. And 5 times 8 is 40. After I multiply, I need to subtract. And 42 divided by 40, or minus 40, is 2. After I subtract, I bring down my next number, which happens to be 1. And I start this process all over again. And I asked myself, if I had a total of 21, how many groups of 8 could I circle? So I'm going to go over here and scan, getting as close to 21 as I possibly can. So it looks like I got to back it up to 16, and that would be 2 groups. 2 would go on top. And 2 groups of 8 is 16. I've just divided and multiplied in one step. And 21 minus 16. Well, boys and girls, it's easier to count up to this number than it is to borrow and regroup. So I'm going to count up. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. That is a difference of 5. And after I subtract, I bring down the next number, which happens to be 6. And I start this process all over again. How many groups of 8 could I circle if I had 56 dots? So I scan and I look and I get as close to 56 as I possibly can, and I happen to have a number, and that number would be 7. 7 goes on top. I divide it. I multiply 7 times 8. I get 56. I subtract. 56 minus 56, I get 0, and there's nothing left to bring down. 527 is my answer. Is 527 between my estimate of 500 and 600? And yes, it is, and that is why I like this answer. Mrs. Cartwright will continue this activity on the back.